people were so inspired that I didn't let Josh know this, but a couple of people wanted to do duets. I'm not sure Josh is up for that. Right? He seems like a nice young guy. I don't want to call anyone out, Victor, but in the men's room, he's already singing one of the songs, and one of the other men approached. I think Victor really wants to do a duet. But the thing is, I'm not sure I'm going to do that. I don't know. I didn't get permission from Josh, so I'm going to kind of let that one stand down. But what I am going to do is ask Eric Evans, Josh's dad, to come on and join me up here. We're going to tell a bit of the backstory. So you're going to find out a little bit about why are we here tonight, how did it first come to be, and I think because I kind of. I think that's just easier because I kind of like knock me out. No, so here's the backstory, because you guys need to know, like, okay, Nate and Heidi have friends with Eric Evans and Suzanne Evans and Josh Evans, but how did this all come to be? So this is not a life story, I promise. But we're going to go back to 1976. I wish I was born that year, but no. So 1976, a little kid from Merrick, Long Island, was the youngest of four, and his dad took a little change in America from Merrick, Long Island to Tucson, Arizona. And my dad took a new church position at Palo Verde Baptist in Tucson, Arizona. So we literally drove my sister to Bethel University and dropped her off. I'm like, good luck, sis, no forwarding address. So I was the last one at home. We literally, she was the third. We dropped her at college. My other brothers were in college and out of college, and off to Tucson we went. And for a young man at 15, coming out of Merrick, Long Island with a heavy New York accent, it's a little bit of a cultural change. But sure enough, I grew to really enjoy Tucson. I had a great time there. My dad's church, which Eric and his family attended, did have a Christian school, and it went all the way through high school. They just kept adding a year. So that when I got there, they had an 11th grade, and I was in 10th grade, and then they added a 12th grade, and I was able to graduate from Palo Verde Christian School. But the story is that we came to Palo Verde Baptist, and my dad had a ministry there, and this is the legacy. Eric's mom, Pamela Evans, was a soloist for our church there, and to this day I can still garner up her voice. And my mom especially, and my dad just absolutely loved Pam when she would sing in worship and sing to the Lord, and she just had a magnificent voice and sang with even her cousins and others. And so that was the beginning of who are the Evans and meeting this family. Well, there was a little guy there that was probably about 6, a little younger than me, fortunately for him. And I think I treated him okay, but he did get a bond with my dad. They kind of bonded a little bit along the way, and that's going to matter as the story goes on. So here we are, 76, we're in ministry. We get to have the lovely joy of his mom, Pamela, being a soloist and being in that church and that ministry. And then I'm going to hand the mic over to Eric and let him kind of pick it up around 1990, 1991. So you take it from there, Eric, and where we're going to go with this.
So, in 1990, I was the second year in college in Tucson. I was attending community college there, trying to decide what direction to go in life. And I had seen one of the traveling choirs from Azusa Pacific. They came through Tucson and sang one of the churches in town there. And I was wanting to study music and major in music, and I just thought, I would like to go to APU. So I applied and came out to California, and so I went through my whole transfer to APU the fall, I think it would be 91 for my junior year. And I got all the way through that year, and I was lucky they didn't kick me out of school for lack of payment on tuition because it was just a struggle, getting through the year. And so I got through that year, and I worked all summer and with the help of my grandparents to pay off my tuition bill for the previous year. So that whole summer I'm working construction and pouring concrete, and I'm just praying the whole summer, Lord, I really felt like you were leading me here to APU, but I really can't afford to be here. I don't know how, I can't go through another year like that. It doesn't make any sense. So if you want me to continue at Azusa Pacific University and study music there, you're going to have to provide, because I don't have any means to do this myself.
Sidebar question. Did you have any clue, and this isn't in a bad way, did you have any clue where my dad was in ministry at that
No,
point?
no. The last time I had seen Nate's dad was at a 50th anniversary party that Halliburton had when I was in high school. So, it had been 5 or 6 years since I had.
And no clue?
No clue.
Okay.
5 or 6 years since I'd seen or heard from Darren and Kitty Smith. So.
All right, keep going.
So I'm working all summer and toiling in the Tucson summer sun and I just pray, well, God, if you want me to continue here, you're going to have to provide. So I kind of got my pencil out and did all my sums and gazentas and went and figured out, okay, between all of my for room and board and tuition, I needed $600 a month to continue at APU.
So check it out, right, Victor? Counting the cost before you build a home, right? This young man was saying, I'm going to count the cost
Yes.
before I plunge.
So I prayed all summer. I said, God, I need $600 a month. It might as well have been $6 million a month to me at that point in my life. And I said, if you want me to go back to APU, you're going to have to provide. If not, I'm just going to stay in town here and go to the University of Arizona. So about the end of July, I was at home and the phone rings and my mom hands me the phone and says, Eric, it's for you. Oh. Hey Eric, this is Pastor Smith. Oh, whoa, Pastor Smith, how you doing? Boy, I haven't seen you in a while. And he says, yeah, he says, I hear you're a music student at APU. Yeah, I am. He says, well, I am pastoring a church now in San Bernardino, California, and we are needing a part-time music minister. And heard you're a music student at APU and wondered if you might be interested in this part-time music job while you're going to school. And the pay happens to be $600 a month. So, it was just like, okay, God. It's one of the defining moments in my life where God, I had a lot of other moments where, he didn't, where I thought I was going the right direction and it didn't work out that beautifully. As we all know, God, doesn't, do always what we want him to do. And at that point, I had really just kind of given it over and said, look, if you want me here, you're going to have to provide. And in my mind, it's like I knew, okay, I need $600 a month. And the phone rang, and you young folks, it doesn't always work out that way. But in this instance, God in his providence chose to really strengthen my faith. It was a defining moment in my life where God really showed up and was real to me in an amazing way.
And I think that's the drop the mic moment, but I think it's such a great testimony right after Josh sang that song about what was Joseph thinking when he ends up in prison for doing the right thing. The story doesn't end there, of course, but that is an elegant moment. And as fun as that, Eric and I ran into each other at the Rose Parade, I don't know how many years ago, and his dad was there, and I just wanted to give one more plug to Eric, because for those of you who understand, working in the summer in Arizona is not trivial, and my dad asked his dad to hire me for a summer. Let's just say I didn't finish. Not a great moment for me. This guy, he finished, and in summers in Tucson or Phoenix, that's not trivial to work in construction. But okay, so then fast forward, Uncle Steve shows up on the scene, and some of you may know Steve Holm, and they reached out to us and said, we gotta get together. Let's get together with Eric and Suzanne and Rosie and Steve, and let's get together. And so Heidi said, sure, let's do it. So a year ago, they invited us to their home, lovely home, and we got a chance to fellowship. Well, gratefully, the kids were all there. All their kids were together, the cousins, they were fellowshipping, we were kind of the outsiders, but they tolerated us. But in that conversation, at one point, I might have asked everyone what they were doing, I kind of knew that. And Heidi asked, and Josh mentioned that he was studying vocals at Cal State Fullerton. Now you know the rest of the story, because then Heidi, my very quiet, shy wife, did say, would you sing a little for us right now? And Josh, as you can tell, what is that old saying, when you love what you do, you never go to work? Josh was like, I can do that for you. And he sang for us a cappella at that moment, and in the way you understand it, for Heidi, that was a spark. Before we left at home that night, she told him we will be doing a concert. So this is just a great night, right? But I thought it was so wonderful after we had our Q&A cafe, for those that knew about it, about stewardship and about our talents and our time and our finances, that Eric could come up tonight and share a story of how God met him at that exact moment. And my dad got to be a part of it. So I thought that was just an exciting story to share. And then out of it, we got to meet all the family. All the kids are great, but Josh has this lovely talent. So that was the incubator. That was the story behind the story to a little kid out of New York who landed in Tucson, Arizona with his parents, and where we are today. It's pretty exciting to see how God weaves that providential story through our lives. So with that, I think we give it back to the man of the hour. Josh, come and speak.
Hello again. Yeah, so I guess we'll just start off again. Ooh, nerves. That's a nice feeling to feel again. So the song that we're starting off with is a German piece. It's pronounced Ständchen. It took me a very long time to get the pronunciation down. I read it how it was spelled for my voice professor one time. It's like, yeah, I was thinking working on Ständchen today. He's like, what do you mean? What? I think you mean Ständchen. Oh, right. And it translates as serenade. It's a standalone piece. And the singer is basically trying to romance this girl. He's trying to win her over. He paints these pictures of walking underneath the moonlight, how the nightingales call out in the evening. But she is not giving him the time of day. And later on in the song, you hear the piano hasten a little bit, and that's supposed to represent him getting a little bit more desperate. Like, ah, dang it, pay attention to me. Look how romantic I'm being. So without further ado, this is Ständchen. a musical that, in my opinion, is very underrated. It comes from a musical called Love Never Dies, and it's essentially the sequel after Phantom of the Opera. This was also written by Andrew Lloyd Webber, and this takes place 10 years in the future. You discover that the Phantom has moved to Coney Island and started up that amusement park there. He was the founder, and how did he pay for it? With all of the money he made from terrorizing the theater in France. So it opens with him in his composing area. He's next to his organ and is tormented and still haunted by Christine Daae's voice. He still feels the same for her when he did 10 years ago. So when he sings the song, Till I Hear You Sing, it's a song of hope and desperation, kind of like the last song. And he longs to hear her voice again and to see her again, but he knows that he can't. So this is Till I Hear You Sing. The day starts, the day ends, time crawls by, night steals in, pacing the floor.